We all encounter them. The difficult colleague, the frustrating family member, the demanding client, the negative acquaintance. Interactions with difficult people can drain our energy, test our patience, and disrupt our inner peace, leaving us feeling stressed, angry, or misunderstood. In a world often focused on quick fixes and avoiding discomfort, navigating these challenging relationships effectively requires a different approach, one grounded in wisdom, resilience, and inner strength. Fortunately, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers powerful, practical tools not just to cope with difficult people, but to engage with them or disengage wisely while protecting our own tranquility and integrity. Today, we explore the Stoic guide to dealing with difficult people. Welcome back to Stoic Journal. Before we dive into techniques, let's solidify our understanding of the philosophy guiding us. Stoicism isn't about being emotionless. It's about not being ruled by irrational emotions. A brief history and relevance. Originating with Zeno of Citium in Athens around 300 BC, Stoicism evolved through figures like Chrysippus, Palladius, and Posidonius. Despite its ancient roots, its core concerns, dealing with adversity, managing emotions, finding purpose, living ethically, are perennial human challenges, making it incredibly relevant to our fast-paced, often overwhelming modern lives, which frequently prioritize fleeting gratification over lasting inner peace. Core principles for today. For dealing with difficult people, 3 Stoic pillars are paramount. First, acceptance, Amor, Fati. This means acknowledging the reality of the situation and the person as they are right now, without wasting energy wishing they were different. It's accepting that difficult people exist, and encountering them is part of life governed by the Logos. Second, detachment, Apatheia. This isn't cold indifference, but freedom from being controlled by irrational emotional reactions. It means observing your own anger or frustration arise without letting it dictate your actions, maintaining your inner calm by understanding that only virtue is truly good and external behaviors are indifferent. Third, understanding reason and perception. Actively using your reason to analyze the situation, the other person's likely motivations, and most importantly, your own initial perceptions and judgments, which Epictetus taught are the true source of disturbance. These principles provide the foundation for navigating challenging encounters. A key Stoic insight is to shift focus from the behavior of the difficult person to understanding its likely roots. This isn't about excusing them, but about depersonalizing their actions and informing our own rational response. Root causes: insecurity, lack of control, fear. Marcus Aurelius often reflected that people err because they lack knowledge of true good and evil. Their difficult behavior, perhaps arrogance, micromanagement, or aggression, might be a flawed coping mechanism. Arrogance can mask deep insecurity. A desperate need to control others often reveals a terrifying lack of control within their own lives. Aggression or defensiveness frequently stems from unacknowledged fear. Their internal conflict. Realize that the person causing you grief is likely experiencing their own significant internal conflict and suffering. Their actions are symptoms of their own troubled mind, their own mistaken judgments about the world. They are, in a Stoic sense, sick in their ruling faculty. This perspective fosters rational pity rather than reactive anger. Perception drives reaction. Reiterate Epictetus. We are disturbed by our judgments. The difficult person shouts, external event. If your perception is, this is a personal attack, it's intolerable, you feel anger and distress, internal reaction. If your perception, guided by reason, is, this person is expressing their own frustration, ignorance, in an uncontrolled way, external. My peace depends on my calm response, internal. The disturbance is minimized. Recognizing this power of perception is paramount. The difficult person provides the stimulus. You provide the meaning and the resulting emotion through your interpretation. Choose your interpretation wisely. Armed with understanding, let's explore specific Stoic techniques for engagement or non-engagement. First, practice active listening. This seems simple, but it's powerful. When someone is being difficult, resist the urge to immediately defend, argue, or interrupt. Instead, listen fully. Pay attention not just to the words, but the underlying emotion. Even if misplaced, try to understand their perspective, however flawed, without judgment. Ask clarifying questions calmly if necessary. Often, simply feeling heard can slightly de-escalate negativity. Even if it doesn't change them, it provides you with clearer information to form a rational response, and it demonstrates your own temperance and respect. Second, crucially, emphasize emotional detachment, apatheia. Your goal is to remain internally calm and objective, regardless of their emotional state. Don't get drawn into their anger, frustration, or negativity. Visualize their outburst like a passing storm. You acknowledge it, perhaps take shelter, metaphorically, but you don't become the storm. Remember, your inner citadel is impenetrable unless you grant entry to disturbing emotions through poor judgment. If you feel anger or frustration rising in you, pause. Acknowledge the feeling objectively. Anger is present, without identifying with it or acting on it immediately. This detachment is key to maintaining rational control. Third, utilize reframing. Actively change your perspective on the interaction to lessen its negative impact and potentially find constructive angles. Instead of, this person is attacking me, perhaps reframe as, this person is expressing pain poorly, or this is an opportunity to practice patience. Ask yourself, what virtue can I practice here? How can this situation, viewed differently, serve the common good or my own character development? Is this truly a catastrophe or just an inconvenience when seen from a wider perspective? Cosmic view, memento mori. Reframing transforms the meaning you assign to the event, directly altering your emotional response and opening up more virtuous courses of action. These techniques require practice, aiming to replace instinctive reactions with deliberate, reasoned actions. These techniques work best when supported by an underlying Stoic mindset, cultivated over time. This requires proactive work. First, self-reflection to identify triggers. Regularly using practices like journaling or quiet contemplation is key. Understand specifically what kinds of comments, behaviors, or situations tend to provoke your negative emotional responses. Why? Knowing your triggers is the first step to managing them. Second, develop resilience through practice. Stoicism isn't about avoiding difficulty, but building the inner strength to handle it. Consistently engage in Stoic exercises outside of conflict situations. Meditate on core principles. Practice prosoche, mindful attention to your judgments and actions throughout the day, catching small irritations before they grow. Use negative visualization to prepare for potential difficulties, lessening their power to shock you. Third, constantly shift focus from controlling situations to controlling reactions. This is the fundamental reorientation. Remind yourself daily, hourly, your power lies not in making difficult people easy or guaranteeing smooth interactions, but in mastering your internal response to whatever occurs. Train yourself to instinctively turn inward, to manage your judgments and choose your actions when faced with external friction. This dedicated cultivation of mindset transforms Stoicism from a set of techniques into a way of being, making calm and virtuous responses more natural over time. Consistently applying these Stoic principles when dealing with difficult people yields profound, life-altering benefits. First, potentially improved relationships. While you can't force others to change, your calm, rational, and empathetic response often prevents escalation. It models better behavior and can sometimes, surprisingly, lead to more understanding or respect, even from difficult individuals. You fulfill your social duty virtuously without adding fuel to the fire. Second, significantly reduced stress and anxiety. This is perhaps the most immediate benefit. By focusing on what you can control, your response, and accepting what you cannot, their behavior, you drastically reduce the mental turmoil, frustration, and anxiety these interactions typically cause. Your peace is no longer held hostage by their actions. Your well-being becomes internally anchored. Third, accelerated personal growth. Every encounter with a difficult person, when approached with Stoic intention, becomes a valuable lesson, a workout for your character. You practice self-awareness, emotional regulation, patience, empathy, courage, and justice in real time. These encounters, reframed, become fuel for strengthening your character and building genuine, unshakable resilience. Dealing with difficult people is an unavoidable part of the human landscape we must accept. But suffering because of them is, as the Stoics teach, largely optional. By understanding the roots of their behavior through empathy, focusing relentlessly on what you control, your judgments and responses, and applying techniques like active listening, emotional detachment, and reframing, you can navigate these encounters with significantly more peace and integrity. Building a Stoic mindset through self-reflection and resilience practices empowers you to protect your inner citadel. Remember, the goal isn't to change them. The goal is to ensure they don't change you. eroding your calm, or compromising your virtue. Your tranquility is your responsibility, and Stoicism provides the guide. Thank you for exploring the Stoic approach to difficult people with Stoic Journal. Which technique will you try to implement first? Share your thoughts on navigating these challenges in the comments. If this guide provided valuable tools, please like and subscribe. Remember your principles, control your response, and protect your peace.